Council, Madam Clerk, could you please read the roll?
Mr. Bozen? Oops. Mr. Bozen?
Here.
Mr. Amos?
Here.
Mr. Morrissey?
Here.
Mrs. Klein? Here. Mr. Feuss?
Here.
Mr. Greider?
Here.
Mrs. Jewin?
Here.
All right, thank you. Could you please all join me in a moment of silence? And this time I would ask that you turn your hearts and minds to, there's been a lot of very, very tough weeks with regards to policing, to COVID. I just ask that you all turn your hearts and your minds or your thoughts or your prayers towards those areas. All right, thank you. And is the chief around? Oh, I thought she called me. If he's around, if not, we got some 30-year officers here that may want to lead.
Let's do that.
So Mrs. Klein is deferring her pledge reading to our new school, our 30-year-old officer. So would you both lead us in the pledge?
Please join Sergeant Clark and I in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Klein.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented and the minutes of the June 8th, 2020 regular session as proposed.
Second.
That motion has been made with a couple seconds. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. And first up, we have the Healthy Homes proclamation, which I will read. Is there? Right. City of Waterloo, Iowa proclamation. Whereas home health and safety hazards, including physical safety hazards, lead-based paint, radon, mold, pests, and allergens cause or contribute to a wide range of illnesses and diseases, including lead poisoning, asthma, cancer, and injuries. And whereas lead poisoning affects thousands of City of Waterloo, Iowa children under the age of 6 years. Whereas accidents in the home hurts hundreds of City of Waterloo people every year. And whereas many of the City of Waterloo children die from chemicals stored and used improperly in the home. Whereas dozens of City of Waterloo residents die from carbon monoxide poisoning every year. Whereas many Waterloo families and households are unaware that their homes can have serious health hazards. Whereas education awareness about dangers of unhealthy or unsafe housing can save lives. Now, therefore, I, Quentin Hart, Mayor of the City of Waterloo, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2020 as Healthy Homes Month. So we want to thank Mr. Jones and the entire community development staff for their efforts. I don't know if you know that they have previously submitted some grants to the federal government and was awarded, I think, about a $2.1 million grant to help homes to be lead-free, and we heard how important that was. All right, the second proclamation, and I think LaTanya is online, but let me read this first. City of Waterloo, Iowa proclamation. Whereas on June 19th, 1865, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger landed at Galveston, Texas to enforce President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation and declare freedom for all slaves. And whereas each year after, former Texas slaves and their descendants joined in a celebration of freedom, and the commemoration became known as June 10th. And whereas across our nation, Americans celebrate June 10th, a day to reflect on the sufferings of slavery and to remember the joyful declaration of freedom. It is a time of rejoicing with family and friends and a time for planning the future. And whereas the celebration gives us the opportunity to commemorate African American heritage, as we honor the courage and fortitude of our ancestors, we renew our commitment to combat injustice with the triumphant spirit of freedom. Now, therefore, I, Quentin Hart, Mayor of the City of Waterloo, Iowa, do hereby proclaim June 19, 2020 as Juneteenth celebration. LaTanya, you have some comments?
Yes, actually, this is our 25th year celebration. And because of the pandemic and COVID-19, we decided to do our event virtual. So today, myself and Abraham Funches kicked it off at 1 o'clock. And we talked about the history of Juneteenth and some of the things that have transpired over the years. And so on tomorrow, on June 16th, Chillin, the Conscious Poet, and Queen Gabby will be performing. And again, the event will start at 1, and it will be on the NAACP Facebook Live page. And then on Wednesday, we will have a health panel, and Kia Levy will be the facilitator. And on Thursday, June 18th, my birthday, we will have hip hop literacy and the network. And then on Friday, June 19th, our own Mayor Quentin Hart and Mayor Robert Green will both read the proclamations, and we will also have Dr. Fitzgerald on Friday as well. We have 3 students that will be receiving a gift card and I believe a certificate. And what this is for is students that had a rough year, whether it was in academics, behavior, their attitude, and turned it around. We will be giving those students, again, a gift card and a certificate. And we just want to show them that we appreciate the hard work that they do, and showing us that even though they may have started off with a rough year, they turned it around. So we will honor an elementary student, a middle school student, and a high school student. And what we do is let the teachers collaborate with the schools to give us the names of the students that are selected.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for the education and the commemoration as well. We are a strong and diverse community, so we appreciate your effort. So a lot going on this week virtually as well. All right, right now I would like to call up Dr. Fitzgerald along with Major Joe Leibold, and is it Officer, Sergeant Andrew Clark, if you would both join me up here. We've all been COVID tested at one point, I assume. We're right up front already. All right, we have some special honorees today. You want me to hold that? In which hand? You see, they've been doing this to me all day, like the doors closed mysteriously. But yeah, today we have the honor of celebrating 30 years of service, dedication, honor to the citizens of Waterloo with these 2 fine gentlemen. It reads, in appreciation of 30 years of valuable and dedicated service to the city of Waterloo, Joseph Leibold, May 28th, 2020, and Andrew Clark on April 5th, 2020. So very close within proximity. I bet some amazing stories too over the years. Chief, do you want to say something? Say something before we present them and have them hold those up?
In this day and age, it's worth commendation to function as a police officer for over 30 years. I can tell you that there's a lot of expectation leveled upon us, and you too have done your part in distinguishing yourselves as having never tarnished our badge, and to be the people that can be looked up to in this organization as folks who have been able to work through many a problem within the city of Waterloo. Major Leibold, you obviously have stepped in several times to provide guidance and leadership to the organization, and I know that just in my transition here, you've been a steady hand and someone who this city can really be proud of. Andrew, what can I say? I just only hope to make my 30 years one day, but I'll say this, to be a frontline supervisor these days and to have young officers, young millennials who you have to try to identify with and to bring them up to a level of service and with dignity and respect is something that I don't think people appreciate these days. So as the person that is the chief in this organization, I can tell you that first line supervisors mean everything. You go a very long way in ensuring that the people here have the confidence in our department that they need to have, and that the officers do the things that we need them to do in the way we need them to do it. So you're a teacher. You're both teachers, obviously, and you're both role models for people in this agency that for many, many years to come, they can look forward to, if they make 30 years on the job, being folks that are worthy of commendation, and I'd say a round of applause from everyone as well.
All right. Yep. If we could, if your families want to take a picture, if you two please come over and. You two want to say something? Yeah. 30 years you got to say something.
Well, I did consider making a rather wordy statement today, but yes. But I will say this, that a lot of things have changed in 30 years, but there is one thing that has not changed over that 30 years, and that is that we have a dedicated group of officers on our department, some of which were, I am humbled to say, came here to see me tonight, some of my officers on my squad. These officers strive every day to live up to the oath that they took however many years ago, to protect the lives and the property of the citizens of Waterloo. And I am humbled to work with such a group that includes people of every race. And in the days and months to come, when things are rough on law enforcement, I know that each and every one of them is going to do their best to live up to that oath. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Hart. Thank you, Chief.
Well, I'll echo what Andy says. We do work with some truly amazing people, and I enjoy working here every day. And anybody out there looking for a job, nothing's the same day after day. This is 30 years of a new adventure every day I come in the door. So it's a great adventure, and it's a great place to work. I really, truly enjoyed working with Sergeant Clark for 30 years and Lieutenant Sarksna, who couldn't be with us tonight, and a few others. But we got a lot of 30-year employees this year, and that's something to be said for the organization.
And also, really quickly, too, why don't we give an applause to all of your family members, too, because they bear the burden with you. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, it's now time for oral presentations. Your opportunity to address the council on non-agenda related items. If you have some comments first, we'll take those in the audience. So please come up, state your name and address for the record, and let us know your thoughts. Oops. Which one is he for? All right, all right. All right, thank you. And we have two people that are attending via Zoom. Jessica Rucker for item number 14, and I see Mr. Forrest Dillevue is on here as well, who may present and who may not. But council, comments, questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Klein.
as you probably know by now, I'm walking the entire city. I wanted to kind of explain why. COVID did a number on everybody, and it was just so unprecedented. And when it started to loosen up and the governor finally said we could go door to door, I decided to go door to door. We've been through a lot together as a city. Honestly, we've had the COVID, and then we've had horrible things happen in Minneapolis, and it's just cast a pall over all of us. And I just wanted to come to your doors, knock on your door, ask you how you're doing. We keep social distance, and I'm whatever you're comfortable with. If you don't want to answer the door, that's fine. If you do, I'll stand back. Whatever you like. I want to see Waterloo. I grew up in Waterloo, but there are pockets of it that I'm not aware of. And I've been shocked. Right now I'm in Ward 3. The beauty of Ward 3, the areas of town where there are acreages right in town, and the friendliness of the people of Waterloo. We're just a great city, and we've got to remind ourselves of that. And we got to do better at being friendly with each other. And then there's just one more thing I want to mention. I got an email from Mr. Rick Smith this week, a wonderful citizen who goes out of his way for his neighborhood. He cleans out the storm sewer area. He just takes it upon himself. He plants trees. He doesn't complain. He did ask me if it would be possible, and we might want to consider it, putting on our website updates on things we get lots of questions on. We get lots of questions on where the city is at with different projects, like the grocery store downtown, or the housing development over by the library, or there's just a plethora of things that we get questions on all the time. And if we had like a monthly update on our website for the citizens to check in on, I just think that would be such a good idea. I thought he had a great idea. I thought I'd bring it up.
Well, please invite him to check out our Facebook page. We do probably about 3 or 4 updates every day. Check out the Heart for Mayor page, but a myriad of different sources, and you can go on and see our economic development updates that we put forth to people in our neighborhood coalition. So we will continue to do that, and if there's anything specific, let us know. We'll get it up there.
I will. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Council.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Morrissey.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, the complaints regarding the fireworks are starting to come in. And again, we're having this issue where the state has opened up selling a month in advance of when our 3 legal dates for setting those off, and I'd just like to get an update on how the police are going to be handling that this year to enforce what our ordinance says are the legal dates for shooting those off. And then the second thing, I just would request that the developers for All In Grocers and the Art Block have a presentation to the council on where they're at with those projects.
All right. I'd probably say one of the things with regards to the fireworks, people are absolutely confused. We went from somewhat of a ban to a complete ban. Then we went back to a partial ban. So people are confused throughout the community about what they're supposed to do and what they're not based upon some of the changes, because we've been having conversations. But I would definitely get with the chief and his staff to see exactly the number of complaints and then how we are enforcing complaints. So, all right.
Mr. Mayor?
Mrs. Jewin.
Mr. Mayor, just would ask you, why would you go ahead and state the dates that fireworks are allowed, please?
I think I've got it here.
Mr. Mayor?
Let me respond to Mrs. Jewin's request. Where's fireworks? What 3 days?
Section 5-2-13 of our code, subsection B says prohibitions and use. It shall be unlawful for any person to use or explode any consumer fireworks or display fireworks within the corporate limits of the city of Waterloo, except on July 3rd, 4th, and 5th of each year between the hours of 12 o'clock noon and 11 o'clock p.m. on July 4th, and between the hours of 12 o'clock noon and 10 o'clock p.m. on July 3rd and July 5th.
All right, Mr. Morrissey. Mr. Morrissey?
Mr. Mayor, I just knew the dates. I just was going to say it.
All right, thank you, good sir. Anything else, council?
Okay. Motion to close oral presentations, receive comments, and place on file.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, motion to approve the consent agenda with the addition to number 1A1 in the amount of $1,603,173.73 to receive the agenda, approve, and place on file.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Council? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Could someone take number 2, please?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing on improvements to hangar number 4, Waterloo Regional Airport, project number 9-1-200-ALO-200 Iowa DOT Aviation Bureau, contract number 21613. Second.
All right, that motion has been made with the second. Is there any comments on file, Ms. Clerk?
There are no comments on file.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to hangar number 4 by our airport? Going a second time.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Morrissey.
I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing. Second.
That motion was made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution confirming approval of plan, specification, form of contract, etc., and authorizing to proceed. Second.
That motion has been made with the plethora of seconds. Council, any questions? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin? Mrs. Jewin, you're on mute currently.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to receive, file, and instruct the city clerk to read bids and refer to the airport director for further review. Second.
That motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk?
All right, the engineer's estimate for the base bid is $86,797.50. The estimate for alternate 1 is $4,500. Alternate 2, $16,135, and the total, $107,432.50. Our first bidder was Modern Builders Incorporated of Janesville, Iowa. They provided 5% security. Their base bid was $141,162.50. Alternate 1, $4,000. Alternate 2, $25,875. Second bidder was Woodruff Construction, LLC of Waterloo, Iowa. They provided 5% security. Their base bid amount was $105,213.75. Alternate 1, $11,000. Alternate 2, $35,687.50. That's it.
All right, thank you. Could someone take number 3, please?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Amos?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing, and that is for airline passenger terminal building improvements, Waterloo Regional Airport, project number 9I190-ALO-200, Iowa DOT Aviation Bureau contract number 20601.
Second.
All right, that motion has been made with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now open. Madam Clerk, are there any comments on file?
There are no comments on file.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council and mayor on this particular item on the agenda? Going a second time.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Amos?
I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing closed.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution confirming approval of plans, specifications, form of contracts, etc., and authorizing to proceed.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Council questions? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
And Mr. Amos?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to receive, file, and instruct the city clerk to read bids and refer to airport director for further review.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Madam Clerk.
Our estimate for the total cost of the project is $78,075.75. Our first bidder is Randy's Flooring of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. They did provide 5% security, but the security was received after the 1 o'clock deadline. Their base bid was $90,023. Alternate 1, $5,549. Alternate 2, $2,095. The total base bid plus alternates 1 and 2, $97,667. Our second bidder was Woodruff Construction, LLC of Waterloo, Iowa. They provided 5% security. Their base bid amount was $81,881.25. Alternate 1, $4,183.95. Alternate 2, $4,169.25. Total cost, $90,234.45.
All right, thank you. So the other bid was
Their bid was responsive. Their bid security was not responsive.
Number 4, please. Mr. Greider, was that
Mr.
you?
Mayor,
Okay, who was that?
Mr. Feuss,
All right, Mr. Feuss.
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing, and that is for miscellaneous airfield improvements, Waterloo Regional Airport via FAA Grant Projects 3-19-0094-046 and 047.
Second.
A motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now open. Madam Clerk, are there any comments on file?
Do not have comments on file.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
The motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now closed.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution confirming approval of plan, specification, form of contracts, et cetera, and authorizing to proceed.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Council questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
not really a question. I just, as we're going through these airport projects, I don't know who is responsible for the bid estimates, but none of these are even close to what we have estimated. I imagine Mr. Kaspari would be coming back before the council with all of this.
Some of the alternates. Mr. Kaspari, are you on?
I am, sir. Good afternoon.
Did you hear Mr. Bozen's comments?
I did, and the bid estimates are what they are. I can't understand what they're bidding on, but all the bid tabulations were true and correct. And we submitted the FAA grant application today, and we are hopeful for receipt of FAA grant to cover the entire project. And including with that, I might add that we're receiving quite a bit of I'll say CARES Act funding from the FAA, and also 100% match for those entitlement funds from the airport that are deemed for fiscal year 18, 19, and 20. And then we're also, looks like we're going to be using under a multi-year grant, and this was all communicated this morning by FAA officials in Kansas City, the use of some of our fiscal year 21 dollars and part of our fiscal year 22, so we can complete the entire amount of work. I've also got both David and or Doug from AECOM that should be participating in this notice of public hearing. So David and or Doug, if you'd like to add on to my comments.
All right. Any other questions?
All right,
Yes.
No.
Mr. Mayor and Council and Councilman Boson, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can.
Okay, so we haven't talked to the bidders directly on any of these projects, but we have seen the bids trend upward this year. So some of it could be the climate, the uncertainties out there with the supply chain and possibly the labor force. But the bids were within like 15% of our estimates, and we checked them, and we feel good about them. They're pretty close, and they are, like Keith said, 100% funded.
All right. Thank you. So, Keith, I know you'll do your analysis before you bring something back. So, whatever you find out, please let Mr. Bozen and the council know. So, thank you. Are there any other comments? All right, Madam
If
Clerk.
I can add, Mayor Hart, due to some extensive discussions that we had today with FAA officials with regard to, it looks like the city of Waterloo will only be receiving FAA grant number 46. So 47 will be issued to us at a later time.
All right, thank you. Duly noted. Madam Clerk.
All right. The engineer's estimate for the base bid of bid package 1 was $451,762. The alternate for bid package 1 was $12,805. Bid package 2, the estimate is $3,051,900.70. And the, let's see, total for the 2020 FAA AIP projects estimate is $3,503,622.70. And then including the alternate is $3,516,467.70. So our first contractor was Wicks Construction Incorporated of Decorah, Iowa. This tab that I have does not note that they provided 5% security, so perhaps Keith or AECom could speak to that. Their base bid for bid package 1 was $742,715.50. Their alternate for bid package 1 is $15,127.50. Their bid for bid package 2, $3,565,675.50. The total for the 2020 FAA AIP projects, $4,308,391. Their total for the 2020 FAA AIP projects, including the alternates, is $4,323,518.50. Our second bidder is Kroll Incorporated of New Hampton, Iowa. Their base bid for package 1, $817,197.50. For alternate 1 for bid package 1, $15,127.50. For bid package 2, their bid amount is $3,520,621.50. Their total for the 2020 FAA AIP projects, $4,377,819. Their total for the 2020 FAA AIP projects, including add alternate bids, is $4,352,946.50. Our next contractor is E&F Paving Company, LLC of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Their base bid for package 1 is $761,477.50. Their alternate for bid package 1, $19,087.50. Their bid for bid package 2, $3,749,753.50. Total for the projects, $4,511,231, and their total, including the alternates, $4,530,318.50. Our second to last bidder is Cedar Valley Corp. LLC of Waterloo, Iowa. Their bid for package 1, $689,019.60. Alternate 1, $22,330. Bid package 2, $3,441,875.40. Total for the projects, $4,130,895, and their total, including the alternates, $4,153,225. Our final bidder is K. Cunningham Construction Company Incorporated of Cedar Falls, Iowa. Their bid for package 1 is $723,877.50. The alternate for package 1, $17,360. Package 2, $3,503,274.50. Their total for the projects, $4,227,152. And their total, including the alternates, $4,244,512. Would Keith or Doug be able to speak to the bid security?
I don't have my notes in front of me, but I do believe, if memory serves, that they did complete the 5% required bid security.
Thank you.
That's correct. Doug Schindel, they did all supply the 5% bid bond, Kelly.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. Let's go to number 5, please. Oh, that's been canceled or rescheduled. Thank you. Number 6, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, along with round number 5, I'm just wondering why that was canceled.
No.
We found an error in the legal description, so we'll have to just reset that and run it through again.
So that was us?
Correct.
All right. Number 6, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Morrissey.
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file approved publication notice of public hearing on the fiscal year ending 21 police vehicle equipment needs.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now open. Madam Clerk, are there any comments on file?
There are no comments on file.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this particular item on the agenda? Going a second time.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution confirming approval of bid documents, specifications, form of contract, estimate of costs, et cetera, and authorizing to proceed.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Council, questions, conversation? Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file and instruct the city clerk to read bids.
Second.
That motion has been made with second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Mr. Morrissey?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
well, does Kelly read the bids?
No, we already did. We just need to adopt a resolution. Oh, do you read the bids? I'm sorry. I thought we.
Unfortunately, I do have to read the bid.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Morrissey. You are correct. I'm gonna say that too loud. You are correct, Mrs. Felkley.
Thank you. I do not have an estimate, but our first bidder is Caltech Incorporated of Baxter, Iowa. Their bid amount is $169 per hour for technical services with a total bid amount of $17,334.61. Our second bidder is Carl Emergency Vehicles of Des Moines, Iowa. Their bid for technical services is $88 per hour plus a total bid amount of $14,806.82. Our final bidder is Electronic Engineering of Waterloo, Iowa. Their bid amount for technical services is $75 per hour, and their total bid is $14,550.
All right, thank you. Mr. Morrissey, now you're good.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution approving award of contract to Electronic Engineering of Waterloo, Iowa in the amount of $14,550 for the fiscal year 21 police vehicle equipment needs and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute said documents.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
And Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Could someone take 7 and 8, please?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor.
Number 7 is a resolution authorizing and providing for the issuance and levying of a tax to pay the bonds, approval of the tax exemption certificate and continuing disclosure certificate in conjunction with the $7,025,000 general obligation bonds series 2020A and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute said documents. Number 8 is a resolution appointing UMB Bank N.A. of Kansas City, Missouri to serve as paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent, and approving the paying agent, bond registrar and transfer agent agreement in conjunction with the $7,025,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2020A, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute said documents.
Could you do number 9 and 10 too?
Number 9 is a resolution authorizing and providing for the issuance and levying a tax to pay the bonds and approval of the continuing disclosure certificate in conjunction with the $8,235,000 general obligation bonds taxable Series 2020B and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute said documents. Number 10 is a resolution appointing UMB Bank NA of Kansas City, Missouri to serve as paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent, and approving the paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent agreement in conjunction with the $8,235,000 taxable general obligation bonds Series 2020B and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute said documents.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Questions from the audience? Council? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
And Mr. Feuss?
All right, thank you. Could someone take 11, 12, and 13, please?
Mayor,
Mr. Bozen?
thank you, sir. I'd like to adopt a resolution approving a professional service agreement with INS Group, Inc. of Waterloo, Iowa, in the amount of $25,000 in conjunction with the Five Sullivan Brothers Convention Center Skywalk improvements and authorizing the mayor to execute said documents. Number 12 is adopting a resolution approving a professional service agreement with INS Group, Inc. of Waterloo, Iowa, in the amount of $309,000 in conjunction with Five Sullivan Brothers Convention Center addition and lobby renovation, and authorize the mayor to execute said document. And number 13 is a resolution authorizing salvage by Friends of the Gilbertville Depot for 2 sections of abandoned railroad tracks on property owned by the city of Waterloo, generally located northwest of 70 Sycamore Street, and accepting indemnity agreement.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Council, questions on 11, 12, and 13, or anyone in the audience? Madam
Mr.
Clerk?
Mayor, can we have a brief
Yes.
on the Gilbertville Depot one?
Yes, sir. Nola, Eric, are you on the line?
This is Noel Anderson, Community Planning and Development Director. So essentially we had the Friends of the Gilbertville Depot that wants to take out some sections of rail that are over there by the old Maynard Station, just as you cross the river. We own the land that they sit on. We did double check with the railroad to make sure that there was no reserved easement rights or anything like that for the rail to come back. And we did get that confirmation that from the railroad it is not. And they would like to take it and take it to their site. I believe Councilman Morrissey actually is involved with the group, and so he may have more information to share, but otherwise we're happy to let them take the rail out of this location for a historic preservation effort.
Thank you. Council, any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes on 11 and 12, and I'll abstain on 13, being that I'm on the board.
Thank you. Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
All right, thank you. 14, 15, and 16, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Greider?
I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution approving a professional service agreement with Main Street Waterloo in the amount of $60,000 for fiscal year 2021, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute said document. Number 15, I would like to adopt a resolution approving a professional service agreement with INS Group, Inc. of Waterloo, Iowa in the amount of $10,000 in conjunction with the Five Sullivan Brothers Convention Center structural penthouse support, and authorizing the mayor to execute said document. And 16, adopting a resolution approving a request by the city of Waterloo to dedicate a sewer easement over the portion of Lot 7, Anthony Baker's plat of outlots, located west of 1628 Washington Street, near Lowell Elementary School, and rescinding resolution number 2020-375 in its entirety.
Second.
All right, that motion has been made with the second. And I know if there's any questions, I think Jessica is on. But Council, Community 14, 15, and 16, any questions? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Could someone take number 17, please?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Amos.
I'd like to make a motion to receive, consider, and pass for the second time an ordinance amending ordinance number 5079 as amended City of Waterloo zoning ordinance by amending the official zoning map referring to section 10-4-4, approving a rezoning of certain property from C2 Commercial District to CP Plan District with conditions located at 122 Blackhawk Road.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Is there anyone in the audience or council, any questions about this item? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes. Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
And Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
The motion has been made with a powerful second. Noel, on this item, I need to move forward. Has there been any objection, anything called in or?
Joel Anderson, Community Planning Development Director. We have not heard any additional comments from the public. I know that Mr. Dillevue is on the line, and he had spoken previously with one of our staff, but I don't believe that he had any comments last week. But obviously, those are welcomed if he does. Otherwise, we have not heard from any of the other people in that area.
All right, Mr. Dillevue, any comments?
Mr. Mayor.
All right, Mr. So, who said that? Mr. Amos?
That was me, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to consider and pass for the third
Wait,
time.
hold on. We have to move to approve this
I'm sorry,
suspension.
vote on
So
the
I
suspending
just wanted to
rules.
make sure we let folks have an opportunity to talk. So the motion to suspend the rules, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
No.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
And Mr. Amos?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Amos, now is a good time.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to consider and pass for the third time and adopt said ordinance.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
And Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you all. Could someone take number 18, please? Anyone? Mr. Morrissey.
I'd like to make a motion to receive, file, and consider pass for the first time an ordinance amending the traffic code by adding subsection 79A Cyclone Drive, both sides from Titan Trail to Marnie Avenue to section 551, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets.
Second.
That motion has been made with a second. Council, anyone questions?
We get a brief overview, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Sandie, are you on, or Randy?
Can you hear me?
A little bit. It's kind of muffled a little bit.
Okay. I'm at work. Yes, what I had was requests come in to my office regarding parking, especially on Sundays and sometimes during the week from the church. Actually, they're the ones who called in, the pastor. But I have contacted all the property owners right in that area, and including the developers of Youngblood, Morrissey, who just bought property there, along with Public Savings and Loves, and I only received 4 comments, and they were all in favor of it. This is basically a safety issue, especially on cyclones, where it's not a real wide street, and there are left turn channels on both sides, at the highway and on Marty and Cyclone, or on Titan Trail. So in order for cars to pass, they have to get in the left turn lane there and go straight through. So it is a safety issue with no objections.
All right. So I think I can summarize that this was Hello? I think I can summarize that this was brought by the developer. You received 4 comments from those in the area. They were all favorable. This has everything to do with public safety and is an important safety issue. Is there anything that I didn't summarize that you said? I mean, I paraphrased.
No, you did fine.
Okay. All right. Council, other questions? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
And Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Morrissey?
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All right. You made that motion with the second. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
And Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, consider and pass for the second and third times and adopt the said ordinance.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
And Mr. Greider?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Could someone take 19, please?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to receive, file, and consider and pass for the first time an ordinance amending the traffic code by adding subsection 399A Titan Trail northwest side from West Bridgeway Avenue to Greyhound Drive to section 551, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets as follows: Titan Trail northwest side from West Bridgeway Avenue to Greyhound Drive.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. And Sandie, for the sake of a little bit of consistency, this threat and public safety issue is revolves around one another with these two ordinances, right?
Yes, it has, and also with the developments that are happening, it's best to put this no parking in, so at least landowners know
Okay.
which side is no parking.
All right. Thank you. So landowners have been contacted, and this is the other portion of development, and this is a public safety issue too. Council, any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss? Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Greider?
Yes.
And Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
And Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to consider and pass for the second and third time and adopt the ordinance.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Morrissey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Feuss?
Yes.
Mr. Greider?
Yes.
Mrs. Jewin?
Yes.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
And Mr. Amos?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Last one on the agenda, number 20.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Is that Feuss?
Yep.
All right.
Like to make a motion approving change order number 1 from Cardinal Construction of Waterloo, Iowa for a net increase of $6,256.56 in conjunction with the 5 Sullivan Brothers Convention Center chiller project.
Second.
That motion's been made with the second. Noel, you want to talk about that really quickly?
Sure, Noel Anderson, Community Planning Development Director. Essentially, looking at the chillers out there, we have some cooling coils in the penthouse that are 50% deficient. Since we're doing the exhibition hall in addition, but the exhibition hall work right now, we believe it's more economically feasible to do this work right now. To basically, we're changing the 3-way valves to pressure independent valves. But again, it's going to be cheaper to do it now than it is later. So we're trying to take advantage of what we're all doing at once.
All right, council, you're good? Do I say all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion been made with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, council.
Thank you.